Let's talk about Bella. So, I'm currently not finished yet with the book. I'm currently in chapter 14, I think. That's like a little bit more than halfway through the book. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the main character because I don't think that there will be any major revelations coming in the rest of the book. So I think I have like a good enough basis to finally start writing Bella. So I'm going to probably have some video of me drawing in the background. What exactly I'm doing, I will just talk about later in the video. Yeah, let's start at the beginning of everything because I made a lot of changes and I want to go through all of them with you. So the first one is how, just to keep you up to speed, how Bella is described in the book. She's only described once in detail, like in terms of appearance, and let me just find that quote and read it to you. So Bella describes herself as, maybe if I looked like a girl from Phoenix should, I could work this to my advantage, but physically I'd never fit in anywhere. I should be tan, sporty, blonde, a volleyball player or a cheerleader perhaps, all the things that go with living in the Valley of the Sun. Instead, I was ivory-skinned, without even the excuse of blue eyes or red hair, despite the constant sunshine. I had always been slender, but soft somehow, obviously not an athlete. I didn't have the necessary hand-eye coordination to play sports without humiliating myself, and harming both myself and everyone else who stood too close. So yeah, Bella describes herself so many times as pale. She once jokes about being part albino, and she is described as having longer hair. I don't know how long exactly it is, but it's long enough that she can, when she's sitting down, make a curtain out of her hair, which she does once to block out Edward from her sight. So yeah, in short, she's average. Like Bella has, I think she meant, yeah, I think she mentions once that she has brown eyes. I think so. She's the YA fiction version of the male video game protagonist. If you don't know what that means, I will put up a picture. The joke is that every male video game protagonist looks the same, and so Bella is the female YA equivalent of that. So Bella also has, like, yeah, let's call it an average personality. Well, I mean, in terms of what she has of personality, because there isn't much to work with. So most of the things that I picked up on her were either reading in between the lines or like things she stated once or twice in the book as to chapter 14 out of, I think, 24 chapters. Let's make this not as tedious for you as it was for me collecting all of this. I don't guarantee that this is complete. This is just what I could figure out from the notes I took while reading. So, yeah, I also don't really took anything that I read between the lines because that turned out to be false. Because I mentioned in my recap video of chapter 1 and 2 that Bella asks her dad what kind of car he bought. And I think she later in the book jokes with Jacob a little bit about cars. But I think she states once in the book that she has no fucking clue about cars. I think she says, sorry, I don't speak car or something like that, which I thought was funny, honestly. But I assumed that she knows about cars just because I don't know fuck about cars. So if I asked my dad, what kind of car is it? No matter what he said, I couldn't imagine what it was. Like, of course, if he says it's an convertible, it's a truck, it's, I don't know, a bug, I could imagine what kind of car it is, but other than that, I have no idea. So this is what I got from reading the book, what kind of person Bella is. Bella is 17 years old. She hates cold weather and snow because I don't know why, because she lived in Phoenix for what? Because I think in the book, yeah, I'm pretty sure in the book she says that she was at least 11 years old when she was with Charlie. Yeah, like living in Forks. So I don't know why she hates that weather so much, even though she grew up with it. So I don't know, but she hates the cold weather and snow and rain. She's kinda not social and doesn't relate much to other people. She doesn't even bother remembering her friends' names at first. She only reads classic literature and listens mostly to classic music. Bella can cook, which is surprising. She can be funny sometimes if she wants to, but these times, like these moments, are very far in between. Bella is a mess when it comes to I don't know, to Living and to Edward. I don't know how she's able to cook when she's described like as being a health hazard to herself. She's not sporty, which has to do with her being clumsy. She's also really melodramatic, especially when it comes to Forks and Edward. And most importantly, once again, she's clumsy. Like, I know that a lot of people joke about her being clumsy, or like Mary Sue's being clumsy, but Bella is just like, Bella is a hazard, like, to everyone. Like, I mean, I get, okay, ooh, ice is slippery, I barely made it to my truck. Like, yeah, that's normal, Bella. Like, I think it was this year when winter suddenly came in and everybody was, like, slithering across the streets because all of them were frozen. Like, that's normal. Not being good at sports, having poor hand-eye coordination, that's normal, but Bella takes it to another extreme. I think if she were left alone for 5 minutes, she'd stick her hand into an outlet like a 3-year-old. I think Edward even mentions like once or twice or even 3 times that Bella can't be left alone or else she will hurt herself. And that's like meant as a joke, but that's true. And also, what bugs me about that is Bella says once that she feels like a damsel in distress, and the thing about that is she is. Like, she does nothing to help herself. She can't even help herself in the book out of dangerous or, like, bad situations. She has to be saved. And that's something that really, really bugs me about her. Also, for some reasons, she's super special. I don't mind the explanation that was given. I mean, it's not good, but I mean, okay, I can accept that, but I highly doubt, because Edward says, oh, she's like, this is also like a meme already, that Edward says that she's his drug of heroin, like his brand of heroin, and while that is like out of the context of Twilight, very funny, I highly doubt that in his 100 years of living, Edward has never seen like another person like with his brand before Bella, because he mentions that Emmett has twice or thrice done that, like 3 times. So I'm kind of doubt that Edward never has done that. Because, yeah, I don't know. So speaking about Edward, Bella is so fucking obsessed with him. It's like, it's ridiculous. So maybe I'm just a weird antisocial freak, but even I am not that occupied with thinking about my crush. Like, I have phases of hyperfixation, and I'm really, really fucking sorry about that to all my friends and people who know me in real life. This entire series is one of that. It's just, I don't know. It's I have hyperfixation phases, but even then, it doesn't occupy my entire being. Like, it occupies my thinking, my life for like, I think the longest phase I had was 3 months. Does that work out? Yeah, three months works out perfectly. That's the longest phase I had. And then after that, I never care about that again. So one example for that would be Detroit Become Human. I had like that was my 3-month phase, and then everything, I don't care about the game anymore. I don't feel as emotional about it anymore. So I don't know how it is to obsess over a person like that. So yeah, it's kind of complicated. I don't know. Even I'm not that fixated on my crush, and I literally think that they are the most perfect person of all time. So I don't know what that says about Bella. So, yeah, anyway, let's talk about the changes I made, because there are a lot of changes. So most importantly, I made changes to the plot, which correlate to Bella's character, and also her design. So the first major change is that I aged the main characters up a little bit. So in the book, Bella and Edward start out as being 17 years old. Edward, of course, being in appearance 17 years old, but Bella is 17. And I made them a little bit older. I made them college-aged because, you guessed it, they will be in college. I have 2 reasons why I did that. The first reason is that Bella literally describes, I think, Emmett, Rosalie, and Jasper. I don't know about Alice, but like everyone besides Edward, as looking like they could be in college or teachers at the school. It just doesn't make fucking sense, because they are currently in, I assume, 11th, 12th grade. And they moved in, I think according to Charlie, 3 or 2 years ago to Forks. So that would mean that somebody who looks like a 20-something-year-old, like a teacher, like a college student, they have been in 9th or 10th grade. And I don't know if somebody just overlooked that while editing or I got that wrong, but that's literally what it says. yeah, even if you're really bad at school, I don't think that you would like fail so many grades, honestly. And the other reason why I did that is that as adults, like as college-aged adults, I have a little bit more freedom as a writer, and the characters have a little bit more freedom in terms of being characters than if they were stuck in school. I have, of course, no idea how colleges or universities work in America. I even don't have an idea how they work, like in real life and in Germany, but because I'm at a private university. But I have friends who are like at public university, so I can ask them how it is. I have a basic idea what it's like, so I will be able to work with that. I will get this figured out, but just for a little bit of context. Then, of course, because I've changed the setting, this raises, of course, a lot of other questions. But I will get everything figured out. I will probably ask questions on Twitter, because on Instagram I don't know. But of course, I have my links to my social media in the description, so if you want to participate in this whole process, you can follow me there. I will mostly post about this on my artist Instagram and my German author Instagram, and I will also post about this on my Twitter. Twitter is a little bit complicated. I always feel weird saying that people should follow me there because I have phases where I'm really emotional on there. So if you can handle that, you can follow me on Twitter. Otherwise, just follow me on Instagram, where I will also post progress on designing everyone and everything. So there's that. Changing the setting also has a benefit because it solves a lot of problems that Bella has when she first arrives in Forks. Mainly, like the main problem is her being afraid of being the new girl. And because in college, if you're new in college, there are like a ton of, I don't know how many, but there are a ton of new students. For example, I'm at a private small university, and I think we were about 100 new students. So yeah, it's not that hard being like undercover a little bit of if you're new, so that's not a problem. Then other than that, I also made a few changes to her personality. Because I wanted to keep her main assets, but she's so bad of a main character that I had to change something. But I wanted to keep like what makes her in the original, because it shouldn't be obvious that I'm rewriting Twilight, but I want to keep like a few hints here and there. So what I changed about her is that I will make her less clumsy and awkward and obsessive, and just like a not weird, but like just the way I make her a little bit less of her. Okay, that's like the short version of it. So I make it less pronounced, but what I make like more pronounced is her being this, yeah, not outcast, but kind of antisocial person. Like she doesn't relate to people. And I think she calls herself, or she says once that she has a glitch in her brain. So I want to keep that. I can work with that, make her a backstory that works. Besides, oh, my parents divorced, and yeah, my childhood maybe wasn't so great. So I give her more of a backstory. And I will, of course, as I mentioned, not make her as obsessive about Edward, because I hate the way, like, it's not even love at first sight, it's like obsession at first sight, and that just bothers me. I will not I will not write a slow burn, because I personally, there's like a fine line between slow burn and they never fucking get together. So yeah, but she will not be head over heels for Edward. That's not what I want. So yeah, I think that's the rough idea about what her personality is going to be. So let's get into her actual design. So you've been already seeing me draw and sketch her throughout the video, but let me just tell you what my thought process were when I was doing that. First, I tried drawing her as close to her book self as possible, how I would imagine her. I think she mentions once that she has like lightly wavy hair or something. So I tried to incorporate that, and I got bored quickly and tried giving her different hair colors and shorter hair just to see what that would look like. And then I settled on 4 designs that I liked, took those and tried a little bit of mix and matching. Like I tried figuring out which hairstyle face combination I like, if it was just the face that I liked or just the hairstyle. And yeah, I came to the conclusion after I posted those on Twitter that I like her with both long and short hair. And I joked about when she goes into her new moon phase, when Edward breaks up with her, that she will cut off her hair, because that would be kind of fun. And there wasn't much thought other than that. I just chose like dark colors because it makes like a good contrast between her hair, eyes, and skin. If her hair and eyes are dark and her skin is lighter, like she describes herself as ivory skinned, as pale as fuck. So yeah, I wanted to keep that because that's like a central thing about her. And yeah, there wasn't much other thought than that. And then after that, I moved on to clothes, and the way I designed them was based on the weather in Forks, which is a little bit more cold. So I didn't want her to run around in just t-shirts and shorts. And also, I feel like she would profit from being a little bit more boyish. So I tried to give her like baggy clothes, white clothes that like kind of conceal her figure. I don't think she ever mentions her boob size. I just assume it's average. So she's gonna be a little bit more like introverted, and I try to figure that out with her clothing as well. So I went for a couple of looks that I personally like. I went to my own closet for that, just to kind of see what could work, what couldn't. And I thought that the looks I ended up with are like different enough from your, let's call it, average girl, but still not super extraordinary. Like, my mom suggested that I should just, for funsies, make her like a goth, and I was like, that's not what her character is. Like, she's introverted, so she wouldn't probably be like very extreme with her clothing style, like in either direction, very girly or very extreme goth or alternative. So I tried to keep it kind of muted down. Same goes for colors. I gave her like a lot of dark colors, muted colors, just because they fit her personality and they also fit the setting, which is, Forks is kind of rainy, kind of foggy, kind of dark, and that all kind of blends in and fits very well, I thought. And yeah, I couldn't decide which one I liked the most, so I decided to keep all of them. So there's not much to the outfits, that's just like, I'm gonna keep all of them. And yeah, I think that's most of my thought process, so let's get into my final thoughts, which are just some things that are like still up in the air, like loose ends. So I was thinking about changing Bella's name. At first, I was like, okay, I want to keep her as Isabella or Isabel, or what, like some kind of variation of that, because I think the name is nice enough. But then I thought about giving her like a more tomboyish, androgynous nickname like Izzy or Easy, and I was like, yeah, but when you're already at that, like not Bella, but like Izzy, like instead of, but still keeping Isabella. And I was like, okay, what other names could you choose that would work as like very feminine names and also like as androgynous nicknames? And here's a list of the candidates I had. It's Alex and Alexandra, it's Cass and Cassandra, Flo and Florence. So it's Lou or Louise, Mel and Melanie, and Mo and Maureen. I personally really like the name Maureen, but I don't know if it necessarily fits Bella's personality. So if it helps you, I will put up the meanings of the names, because I think that's also important to consider. So we have Isabella, we have Alexandra, we have Cassandra, we have Florence, we have Louise, we have Melanie, and finally Maureen. So we probably need to pause that, but I think it's gonna be fine. And the last thing I thought about when I thought about like the college setting, I have to give Bella a major. We're gonna care about the other characters later, but just for Bella, I thought about giving her both very, let's say, call them normal majors and like more extraordinary majors for a main protagonist that is female. I thought about making her a theater, arts, and stagecraft major, because I think that would be interesting. I also thought about giving her like the English literature major, just because Anastasia Steele from the well-known Twilight fanfiction 50 Shades of Grey is an English literature major, I think. I also thought about giving her like a history or linguistics major, like a very not practical theory-based one. And I like finally thought about giving her like a computer science major, because that would be like very untypical of a female protagonist, and also would fit her like kind of boyish personality a little bit more. So if you have ideas for other majors or names even, please tell me in the comments, because I'm kind of in between all of them at the moment. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. Oh yeah, if I change her name, by the way, or like any names in the story, I think in the videos I will keep referring to the characters by their original name, just to make it less confusing for everyone, like for you and for me. Of course, if I write the story, I will of course use the changed names, but yeah, let's make this as easy for us as possible. So yeah, I think that's mostly all. I think the video's long enough already. And yeah, next up, what I will do is I will finish reading the book, and then I will try and figure out the other characters. I think for now I will figure out like all designs, like all important designs, but in terms of personality, if I make any changes, I will figure out Edward and Bella's friends, because these are like the most prominent ones. I won't change Charlie because there isn't much to change. Charlie is a good character. He's like, of course, a supporting character, but Charlie doesn't need any changes, but I think Edward needs a few, to say it carefully. I'm not yet sure how much I want to change the story, because I mentioned like in the introduction that I was thinking about making Edward like the primary love interest, a girl. So I'm not even sure if I'm gonna keep all the Cullens. So yeah, I will figure that out as I go along. So yeah, that's it. I say thank you for watching or for listening, and I will hope you will stay along for next time, whenever that is, once I finish the book, of course, and write the script for the next video. And until then, stay tuned and goodbye.